Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here to answer a question. Did Jascha Horenstein make any great recordings at all? Well, the reason I'm answering this question is because you asked. Actually, the way the question was phrased was, have you ever given Jascha Horenstein a positive, an unequivocally positive review, as if there existed many, many things that should have gotten unequivocally positive reviews? Well, look, soul of objectivity and truth that I am, had there been great recordings by Jascha Horenstein, I would have said so. I did say so. I have said so. I've given him positive reviews, particularly for his BBC Bruckner recordings. Symphonies 5 and 8 are particularly good. They're very, very good. I mean, really excellent performances. And I said so. I had no problem saying so. I really didn't. But the problem is, and here we come to the crux of the matter, there is nothing that man did that others haven't done substantially better. That doesn't mean he isn't beloved, that he wasn't a serious artist, that he didn't do his best, that he didn't make recordings that were interesting or historically important. But were they the best? Were they among the best? Even among the best? Well, we'll give him the wider world of among the best. There is one, and I mean one recording that stands with the best. And it's not just Jascha Horenstein. It is this: the Rachmaninoff Piano Concertos and Paganini Rhapsody with Earl Wild. Now, a lot of the credit obviously goes to Earl Wild, but a lot of the credit also goes to Horenstein, because these are very, very symphonic works. They require the full cooperation of the conductor and the orchestra. They are equal. It's a contest of equals between the pianist and the soloist. And Horenstein is absolutely marvelous in these performances, and they are as great as any that have been done by anyone. And I am more than happy to say so, and to give Horenstein full credit for being a sympathetic and fully equal partner of Earl Wild, who's an absolutely fabulous Rachmaninoff pianist. So he does not overwhelm Jascha Horenstein at all. They are a team. So there you go. He deserves lots of credit for that, and more power to him. But as to anything else that he did, no. There's nothing great out there. In fact, there's a lot that's dreadful. One of my very good friends, as I pointed out before, I know who it was. It was my good friend Christophe at Le Devoir in Montreal. He once said to me, Jascha Horenstein's greatest achievement is having made the worst recording with every ensemble that he worked with. And he was right. He was right. I mean, there was a time 30 years ago, where all of this historical material was coming out, and these Horenstein recordings were coming out that he recorded in France and all this stuff. And he had a name, and he particularly had a name in Mahler, as you remember, for his Mahler 1 and Mahler 3, and the Mahler 4 on Monitor with Margaret Price, which is really quite good, and then this seems to have disappeared. He did some fine things. But they were releasing these horrible recordings that he'd made with these French orchestras. They were just appallingly bad. And I don't think he would have wanted them released, quite frankly. I mean, they were radio air checks or, pirate recordings from live sources. A lot of the things that are floating around, we always have to keep in mind, especially in the historical recording realm, are performances that the artists in question never sanctioned for release. They're just out there. And so they don't have a choice. And they would probably be very upset to know that their reputation is being made based on these really subpar one-off concert performances, which may have gone well and may not have gone well. And what's more, they would probably be even more contemptuous, and Horenstein, of all people, would have been, of the fans who worship these vile-sounding, horribly conducted, dreadfully played performances. A lot of his earlier stuff was on, like, Vox. It was done with terrible orchestras. It was indifferently recorded. He made a lot of recordings, and most of them were bad. They really were. And in the modern era, in the 60s and 70s, he had very few opportunities to make modern recordings that were good. I mean, this Rachmaninoff cycle was a one-off where everything went well. He was lucky. He had was it the Royal Phil? Yeah, the Royal Philharmonic. I mean, he was in good shape. The Unicorn recordings, there was Mahler 1, Mahler 3, there was a Simpson Symphony, one of the early Robert Simpson symphonies, which was really pretty unpleasant. And there was a Hindemith disc. You may recall it had Death and Transfiguration by Strauss and Hindemith's Matthäus der Maler. And that, again, was one of those recordings that told us just how limited he was, particularly in his later years, when his handling of tempo became so rigid that everything just sort of, it had musical lockjaw. It was terrible. I mean, the finale, I remember, of the Matthäus der Maler, up until that point, it was a lovely Matthäus der Maler. First two movements, no problem. Finale, oh no. Because the finale, as you may recall, has the tune do 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 do. But the accompaniment is yum ba dum 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 ba dum, and it does that for a long time, and it has to go at a certain tempo, and it has to be sprung with a certain lightness. And his recording was yum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum, but it was so constipated. Oh, and there was also that Nielsen Fifth that has that banging snare drum cadenza in the first movement, and the over-mic'd timpani, and then this awful second movement that was completely rigid at one tempo. The two fugues are insufficiently contrasted. The orchestral textures are all clogged. It's horrible. Just horrible. So, the answer was, yes, he did some decent things. He did things that have excellent moments. He did a pretty good New World Symphony at one point before his handling of tempo rigidified completely. I mean, there are some okay things, but great tops, in with the best, only the Rachmaninoff. There is nothing else. Trust me when I tell you, there is nothing else. This will not assuage his cultists and followers and people who enjoy him. And anyone who enjoys him has every right to enjoy him. Go ahead and enjoy him. You have my full support and enthusiastic desire that you should get nothing but joy from your particular fetish. But don't tell other people that this is among the best. It's not. It just ain't. Plain and simple. So that's the answer to the question. And when I hear a great performance by Jascha Horenstein, I will be the first to tell everyone just how great it is. I don't root for anybody to do badly. I really don't. And I have nothing personal in this. I have no skin in this game. I wish him well, and I want everything that anyone does to be absolutely stunning. I really do. But it isn't. That's the reality. And so I have to call him as I hear him. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.